So it's finally happening. Officially, it looks like. Well, not officially, but they are officially talking about it. Tonight, PLEs being expanded for WWE. They're talking now Royal Rumble. They're talking Survivor Series, War Games. They're talking possibly Money in the Bank. I think we kind of knew where this was heading. I think all their major, 4 or 5 PLEs will be 2 nights. But I do have a question. So when we get to that world where all the major PLEs for WWE is 2 nights, which one, if you had the decision to make to drop it back to 1 night, you can only do 1, which one would that be?
Top PLEs, you're saying, which one will I go want to be just a one-nighter?
Yep.
I can't say Armageddon, right?
Well, that's not a top PLE. So kind of past that.
I don't know. That's a really good question. So I'm just gonna go crazy and I'm gonna just say WrestleMania.
Yeah, dude, I can't sit for 8 hours watching the show again. I can't do that again, y'all. I mean, you're going off the ones that are potentially going to be 2 hours.
Yep. The top, SummerSlams, Royal
2 days.
Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank, War Games.
I mean, I guess I would say definitely like War Games or Money in the Bank. Like, I don't know why or how those are going to be pushed out to be too much. I mean, I guess you can have the women's the headline one night and then the men's headline the next night, but I just don't think either match can really carry an entire night. I know we got a lot to talk about though, guys, but I know when they released that information, and I was like, we're going to get more 2-night shows. Like, they have so many PLEs. There's so many pay-per-views back to back to back to back. We're not really getting proper builds. I'm just really concerned if they're doing too much too fast and they're going to burn themselves out.
And so my answer actually is the same answer as Rhodesia's, but I think it's for a different reason. Mine will be WrestleMania, and not so we can go back to 8 hours, but because I want one show that should be the best show of the year. If you just put the best matches that you can, I wouldn't go 8 hours. I would go still like 4 hours. And if you don't make it, you don't make it. Right? Like, but this is set for the top matches. That's what I would like to see, because yeah, it's still WrestleMania, still special, but we've seen over the last few years SummerSlam from an in-ring perspective, like, is always kind of better than WrestleMania. Right? Like, WrestleMania is great because of the pomp circumstance, the entrances, the changing of the guard at times, or whatever that looks like. But when you kind of like pull back and you look at the Manias after, they're good shows, but they're never like the best worked shows. A lot of times that's the Rumble, SummerSlam. Hell, Money in the Bank is up there now, right? So like for me, I would be like, all right, let's get WrestleMania to be, if you can only watch one show for the entire year, that one night, that's the show to do it. But of course they wouldn't do it. They're making too much money.
And not only that, I feel like maybe with the exception of SummerSlam, all of the other ones that you mentioned, they are like a women's and a man's, whatever up to grab. So a Royal Rumble for the men, Money in the Bank for the women. Like, so to me, if I could only pick one, it would be Mania, because that one doesn't have a specific male and woman. Again, you get all your title holders have a match at Mania, and like you said, if you didn't make the cut, you didn't make the cut. We had it for 20 plus years before they start going to 2 nights.
I gotta tell you, that's I that's kind of a weird take, Mania, because Mania was always the one, right? So just from like a presentation standpoint, if you got Mania one night, 4 hours, and then you got 2-night SummerSlams, you got 2-night Royal Rumbles and 2-night Poop Scoop Magoo matches, like it seems like that kind of diminishes WrestleMania in a certain type of way. Manias were always bigger, longer pay-per-views. Like that might be, going from 3 hours to 4 hours or whatever it's been. It's always been a larger than life event. Yeah. Like, right. So to scale it down, I think what you're looking for, Matt, is a better build to Mania with better book matches. I don't think that has anything to do with the 2 nights. I think that's just how they're building these cards up.
Well, we got more in store. And I'm always good for better quality. So let's get to the show. We'll wrap real quick. I have I'm playing backseat passenger to you two today. Of course, I'll intro the pod, but you guys have been able to sit
in the back.
You said what?
You're in the back.
Yeah, that was last night. You guys have been able to sit with these shows for a few days. I have literally watched SummerSlam Night 1, SummerSlam Night 2, Monday Night Raw in the last 7.5 hours. I just stopped watching. The end of Raw went off less than an hour ago for me. Okay, so I have just digested everything like today, right now. All right, so let's get to it, man. Episode 211. We going through these things of the TFW podcast. That's freaking wrestling, the best kept secret in wrestling podcast. Today, we are Three the Hard Way.
Three the Hard Way.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. You guys know who I am. Favorite talker out here in these wrestling streets. Matt, joined by that beautiful woman over there, Rhodesia. Joined by, what were you that one time, E? I know you were astute. Remember that one time E just came on using big ass words?
It was a suit.
Like, okay, the astute E. I wish astute like didn't start with an A, it started with the E. That'd be good.
Astute,
right?
I think it starts with an E.
No way.
Well, one of my
Astute.
current nicknames
Astute.
is AE, so I mean that kind of works.
Yeah. E or A. There we go. Astute. Astute.
How
so
do
maybe
you spell
it's A.
astute? It is an A.
Okay.
There you
A-S. How do you spell it?
A-S-T-U-T-E.
Okay.
That's what it said. Look,
Got
it says A-S-T-U-T-E. Yeah.
Oh, so you're using that AI Google, huh?
You heard she said.
She sounded like she was drunk.
Me.
She sounded like she was drunk.
Astute. All right, guys. Brock Lesnar, right?
Yeah, but
that has to be
unfortunately
topic main A. BNC.
I don't think you should downgrade like what you experienced over this past 25 hours of wrestling that you've watched. You know,
like 8 hours, brother.
Like I said, it's 25 hours of wrestling that you watch, man. Like it's fresh, man. So you just recently watched Brock appear on our TV in over 2 years, man. What was going through your mind? How did you feel? Let me hear about it.
So I was able to stay spoiler free except for the cash in. And I think WWE sends out those emails. I think maybe I made a mistake and check my email. So I saw that. All right, cool. Wasn't surprised because hell, we even said it on here. I mean, I broke it down where I'm like, I don't know how you get out of this match unless there's a cash in. We talked about that whole thing. So that was the only thing I got spoiled on. No idea about Brock. I think I just laughed.
No, you screamed
when his music hit.
Yep.
Well, did I scream like a fangirl?
No, you just screamed like,
Oh, you should have had the video ready, Rhodesia.
I don't think
you should have the video ready for that.
Yeah, you did. No, it didn't sound like that. That was the best I could do. I'm not great at impersonations.
So then you tell me from the third person looking at me, what did that scream indicate to you when you heard it?
That you were hype. And a little bit of backstory. So little Matt saw the end of SummerSlam before I did. So he knew what was happening. So on Sunday night when it happened, Matthew was looking at me. Didn't realize he was looking at me. And so as soon as Brock came out, I guess I had like the most disdain look on my face, like I wanted to freaking puke. And so then he started cracking up laughing. And he told me that. So then today when I saw you react and you was like, however you said it, it was like a holy shit, I can't believe they did it, but almost hype in a way. And I was just like, again. But it was a great contrast between both you and I. And I think it's great because evidently you may feel differently about him returning than I do, which it makes me just disgusted.
So what makes you disgusted about Brock being back?
Just everything that I've heard about it. And again, he has not been pressed charges on. He is not convicted of anything, but just how he looks or feels from what we see in court documents about certain women and certain places of where he will see a woman at and like their role and knowing their place. Just almost like we're a pet or we're a treat. Like to me, it's just disgusting. And then for it to a great show to end like that, for Cody to get his championship back, which it was a hell of a match, and we'll talk about that in a second because I want to praise that match heavily. But we get such a great ending, and then that happened. And then once again, what we're talking about, our lead A topic on this show is Brock Lesnar. Like to me, that is just all in itself is disgusting because he can have this alleged view of certain women, but then still be praised and clamored on TV, and people just love and adore him. And to me, it's just disgusting. The same thing that we saw, and I know you both had your own points about Hogan, but again, like I cannot not think about Hogan being a racist. But yes, he is Terry Bollea. Sorry. Terry Bollea being a racist. But hey, he's being held as the second coming of Jesus in the wrestling world. So again, I'm conflicted. For sure I can say that. And I'm biased in that perspective. But again, we're talking about Brock Lesnar as our lead story. To me, it just disgusts me because when we talk about somebody who is, we're not even talking about Seth right now to starting the show. When we talk about somebody who is, you hear all great things about this person, we have to lead with somebody that we don't hear all great things about. And again, when Matthew is much older, he's about to be an adult now, but having a young child, like when you want somebody to look up to, a North Star for someone, and you find out kind of what they are, is that to me, that's just disgusting. And it's all alleged. I get that, but that's just how my views already on
It's
them.
alleged, and also you're and this has nothing to do with my Brock Lesnar take. I'm only going off of what you are talking about, which I think is an awesome conversation. But you are talking about it as if he just didn't return and he's not one of the biggest names in wrestling history. That's why he's our lead topic. He's not our lead topic because of something outside of the ring. He's our lead topic because he came back at the second biggest PLE of the year on night two. We now know what John Cena's next foe is going to be over the next couple months. That's why it's topic A. So I don't have a problem at all with it, no matter what his outside. Now, yeah, we got to get to that. Because if you're like, hey, well, why wasn't he around for the last 2 years? And you're like, well, this is this whole situation that happened with Vince McMahon and his lady and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. But if we're only talking about what we were presented with on television, this would be the number one situation, regardless of why he was gone. It's because he's back. So when his music hit, what was your first reaction?
You know what? I wasn't in shock. I didn't, do a mad eye. I wasn't disgusted like Rhodesia was. I was pretty neutral on it, to be quite honest with you. Because I think the way Rhodesia feels is important. Because that is a big reason why he was off TV. It was a big story that everyone knows about. And it's a passionate point for some people because they're going to feel one way or the other about it. Again, it's alleged. He was never charged. There's nothing. So we always say guilty and innocent until proven guilty, right? Now, for black men in this country, we don't get that benefit, right? You did it. Like you guilty until innocent, right? So I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to judge a man without having all the facts. I know what was said and what was alleged, but I don't know what was proven, And at this point, if you're over 2 years and they're making the effort to put him back on television, whatever happened or didn't happen, it seems like it's going to go away, I would think, right? But, if you look at reports about TKO, especially on the UFC side, they got a lot of people with alleged and some abusive behavior, especially towards women that continue to be on payroll, et cetera. So for me, I'm neutral on the behind the scenes stuff. It's there. It probably takes away some of my enthusiasm for him being back on television. But if you want to look at it from a pure, happy moment on our television, that was a moment. Brock Lesnar back for over 2.5 years. I'm actually interested to know how many of their type of fans actually really know what was going on. I'll tell you, actually, there's a guy that I work around, and he had no idea what was going on with Brock Lesnar. He just knows he had been gone. I mentioned it to him, and he had to look some of the things up, but he had no idea. I'm actually very interested to know how much people really know, and I would probably say it's probably very little that will really affect fans, in attendance, right? I feel like probably it was a big moment for a lot of people seeing him. And I think it was, John Cena, Brock Lesnar. I think John Cena had wanted to face Brock again as one of his final opponents. So it's going to be big for wrestling.
So that was the first thing that came to my mind after just the initial shock of, holy shit, Brock Lesnar's back, was, for me, that's really fucking cool. Cena gets to have a feud with Brock before he leaves. We know Cena wants to work Brock again. Like, he's worked Punk. He's worked Cody twice. Like, he's going down, you know what I mean? Like, he's stamping, like, his career, kind of, in this last 12 months. And I can't wait to kind of get to Rhodesia's point, Cody and Cena. So that's that part. So I've been out of town, of course, last, 2 weeks. So Hogan passed away 2 weeks ago, right? It wasn't last week.
He was like a Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, maybe Wednesday or Tuesday or something.
Yeah, I was on vacation, so it happened. So that was 2 weeks ago. Yep.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, nobody that I talked to, and I talked to a lot of people that I typically don't talk to. Once again, I was out of town. So when the news came, and we're talking Hulk Hogan, most recognizable person probably in the history of the planet, right outside of Michael Jackson and Mike Tyson. I get that. But everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. Even if you've never watched a second of wrestling, you know who Hulk Hogan is. That's not Brock Lesnar. But to your point about who knows what, when he passed away and just having conversations with people, nobody knew about the racist shit. Tina sends me a text message that morning.
Your sister.
After I sent you guys a text. Yeah, my sister. And she's like, oh, Hulk Hogan passed away. And I kind of had to hit her real quick with just like, well, Hulk Hogan died to me 10 years ago because he was a racist. But yeah. And she's like, oh, I didn't know nothing about that. Let me go find out. Now, she knows how important and how much Hogan was, once again, for our childhood. So think about that. She didn't even know it. She used to watch wrestling. So I think a lot of, because we're so ingrained in it, but I didn't cross one person. And I've had talked to over, it's probably close to 30 people, but I know for sure it was 20 plus people.
Wow.
Nobody knew anything about the sex tape. They didn't know about the racist. Some of them knew about the sex tape, but nobody knew about the racist stuff with them. So that, I think some people don't care, right?
Hey, let me add something too, right? As you're talking about that. When we talk about Brock and Hogan, it's a little bit different with those two. It hits a little bit different, at least for me. Right? 'Cause we heard, and that's what hit hard to be a Hulk Hogan fan. And that's why when he died, when that tape was released, we heard his voice. We know it was him. We heard, it seemed like a 30-minute downgrade of the black men in the community, of him just bashing black men, making it seem like we're less than. Yeah. We didn't deserve his daughter. Right? We heard this. The Brock stuff, it's all alleged. We heard one side of the story, knows no charges. He's not going to court. So one side, we know for a fact, Hogan is 1,000% guilty.
He said it himself.
Exactly. Everybody's a little racist brother. Right? So we know Hogan's deal. This is from our fan perspective. We don't know what's going on with Brock. Right? But case in your point, going back to it, how much is a big deal to people who aren't in the know, right? Because we're all over this stuff. We're hardcore fans. The wrestling sites jump all over this, give us the energy and the news that we're looking for. But I don't know if the average fan does.
You know how backwards that is? How are you a racist and your tagline is brother?
Right.
That shit is such an oxymoron. Do you not know what we're known for? Known for being brothers.
And I don't really want to talk about Hogan that much longer, but I do just have to say this. I told Matt real quick, do you know I get a phone call last week, maybe our pod releases on Wednesday. So maybe Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Ring, ring, ring. Hello? I don't like what you said about Hogan. This is my mom calling me, telling me she listened to the pod and she didn't like what I said about Hogan. I said,
I was like, well, do you know
what Hogan did? No, but I don't like that. He meant a lot to us when we were younger, or when her kids was younger. And I'm like, yeah, but he's a racist. Oh, well, he didn't hurt me. I was like, well, of course, because you weren't the affected party. like you're not a black person. I'm like, I'm the one that was hurt and I was insulted. Oh, okay. Well, I still didn't like what you said about Hogan.
But there was a lot of black people that felt like Mama did or does, right? Because it's still entertainment. And we all have like time capsules in our mind of any type of entertainment, movies, music, whatever it is, sports, right? Like, you remember what that was. Like, anybody who watched Hogan who was a wrestling fan was in some form or fashion shaped because of that. Either because you figured out, I hate this type of wrestling and I love Ric Flair in the NWA and WCW, or I love this, or he was a superhero. You know what I mean? So like, I think there's a lot that comes with that. But the difference for me with Brock, and I could be speaking out of ignorance. Now, this conversation can be a completely whole adult type conversation on what goes around and what life is just like for people in positions of power. Does not mean that he's right. I don't think definitely not Iyo and I, but I know Rhodesia already on the other side of it. We aren't caping for Brock Lesnar at all whatsoever. This is not saying that he did not do anything wrong or whatever the case may be. Morally, maybe so. But he did nothing wrong in the letter of the law. He didn't do anything wrong illegal. He didn't even have sex with that woman. So you could say, but Matt, he knew what Vince was trying to do with her, with the contract negotiations, offer her up. And I get that that's wrong. But I would say, if you think that is not happening in the majority of places, in corporate America or in life in general, either you're really young, listen to this, and you're going to find out, or you have just been blinded with what really goes on. That is normal business practices, unfortunately. Because remember, the reason why I think a lot of people who are still on the Vince bandwagon, and now I'm talking about people who have been around Vince, is because if she presented herself as a willing participant, these are just adults doing adult shit. If she was an unwilling participant and she was forced to do this conversation is completely different. But it's not. Now, I have not read the 452 pages in a long time. When it first hit, I did go through it all. And I remember even then thinking like, okay, yeah, there's some shady things in here, but it would be nothing shady to the point where I would say, okay, Brock Lesnar needs to lose his job. He needs to be released. He needs to be cut off. It's none of that. I think Booker T spoke out and just said that he's happy that he's back. He's glad that he kind of got his name cleared. And that's the thing about it. Yeah, if Brock was fucking, 40 different type of women, he was cheating on Sable, and this is just what they did, it still is not breaking any laws, opposed to Hogan just being a piece of shit. You don't really hear, I don't think anybody outside of the public perception, we haven't really heard anybody who knows Brock Lesnar that said that he's a piece of shit.
Hey, look, and we talk about from a moral perspective. We know men that cheat like dogs on their women and wives. Everybody knows it has a friend, cousin, brother that is probably a dog. Like, right? Yeah. Hey, look, Matt and I, we were dogs at one point in time too before we settled down, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the moral thing isn't something that isn't that question at this point. And I'm not going to judge a person by what they do or don't do in their bedroom. That's not for me to judge. That's for a higher power. But no, not to downgrade again how Rhodesia or anyone else feels about something like that. Because, I would say for me personally, that kind of probably dim my light a little bit for the arrival as well.
Okay. So if we switch just to like back to wrestling reality, WWE storyline, kayfabe, that kind of stuff.
Big
music
deal.
hits, like of course I'm like, well shit, like this is wild. This is wild that they pulled it right now. Because it's kind of like, what show? Oh, when Punk came back at Survivor Series. To me, this was similar to that because you didn't have to do it. And you didn't have to do it from perspective of,
that's fair.
Yep. Show's been great, right?
Yep.
We just come off this amazing match. No matter what you think
Randy Orton returned.
The John Cena heel turn, at this point, we are right where we need to be. We got the torch passed again, which I guess we're playing the baton with this fucking torch. Like, I don't know how we're still passing torches and everybody's 40 plus years old. Like, I would think the torch is like maybe like for Braun Breaker or somebody like that. But I digress on that right now.
I don't think Cody's 40 yet. I think he's 39.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. So then he's got another year. He can hold that torch. He's got to pass it too, I guess. But, we got all that. We get Cena in the ring so he can get his thank you Cena off. And then for them to hit that music there, that was really the perfect, because nobody saw that coming.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming. Anything else on Brock before we go right to Cody Cena?
Not on Brock, but just something on Cena about Brock, because again, after I was like, I guess that was the kind of look I had. So for listeners, I kind of just like had like same face. And Matthew had called me out on it. I did think to myself too, like, kind of fuck you too, John Cena, for half a second, because evidently John Cena wanted it. They have said this multiple times. Again, I've only been one episode in on Unreal, so I don't know if more is talked about Cena in his last run here. But everything that he's doing is because he wants to do it, what it sounds like. So then I'm like, okay, so Cena chose to have Brock.
Finally.
And I'm like,
we finally got on this show. F you, John Cena. That's all. Hey, let's just end the podcast right now. Let's end the podcast right now.
I'm cool with it.
Man, we wrap.
We all go to sleep.
Yes, let's go. F you, John Cena. Hey, but I am excited for the Peacekeeper when it comes back season 2. But please,
I saw like one episode Peacekeeper and maybe one episode, but it was cool. But point is, I was like,
fantastic.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was pretty amazing just to be able to say, wow, like Matt mentioned, these are the people that I want to do my final. And another reason why I don't like Brock is because I just don't like Brock, and it always went back down to how he beat up my John Cena like very badly. So it was like the work turning into shoot for me. Like I worked myself into a shoot. So I've always kind of just didn't like Brock. And I heard something else about Brock, but I'm not going to mention it here about him as a person. But when I heard that and I got through my feelings and my stank face, I was like, okay, so hopefully Cena can get his get back. And hopefully this is not going to be like an Undertaker Brock thing where Undertaker loses the streak to Brock and he's already damn near 30 years old and he doesn't need a rub and blah, 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 and we went down this whole path. So hopefully my boy Cena can get hit off on Brock and like destroy him.
Well, let's talk about Cena Cody.
Yes.
And you guys allowed me to hop on the pod last week to give my quick thoughts about Hogan. And then I started by just saying how fantastic and incredible that promo was that Cody cut for John Cena. I said, because he just basically set out the blueprint for what should happen. I said, man, I don't know if they're going to do it, but he set the blueprint. This heel run has been atrocious. It's been a train wreck. We know it. It started out incredibly strong. We sat on the podcast on a cold night in February, and we said, hey, we know it wasn't the best heel turn ever, but it's got to be up there, right? We were comparing it to Hogan and NWO. We were going hard about this heel turn. So for us to get that to every week after asking what the fuck is going on with this heel turn right now, it is not working whatsoever. You got E muting up every single week because he don't want to talk about the heel turn. He don't want to talk about John Cena. We know it sucked. I may be full of hyperbole right now. I know I'm not, because I'm going to look back at this run as WrestleMania. I'm going to look back at this run as heel turn, 17-time champion, which was WrestleMania, SummerSlam. I don't give a damn what happened when I look back at this a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm not going to care about these random Raw shows. I'm not going to care about these random SmackDown shows. When John Cena came out and he had the black and white stage video wall, and that shit turned colorful, and you heard, I'm getting goosebumps, and you heard that stadium erupt. Job well done. It worked. To get us to where we need to get to, where this win for Cody Rhodes means the most possible. This atrocious, sorry-ass heel run worked. When John Cena took off and ran down to the ring, I got goosebumps. Because this is the John Cena we've wanted. Now, if John Cena would not have done this heel run at all, and John Cena ran every damn time down to the ring, we're probably tired of it by now. If this is the John Cena we had from January to now, we don't care about time to go to work. When he hit that and said time to go to work, he ran down there, and once again that crowd erupted. Probably one of the better. I'm going to assume when you ask John Cena, he will talk about that was probably one of the better reactions that he's gotten in his career. Not one person in that stadium booed.
I felt like he was even emotional in the ring when he was like holding up the title with the 3-second channel.
Yeah.
And when he did that, like you could tell when he held the championship up, he was getting emotional. And John Cena doesn't really get emotional in the ring. And you could kind of feel that vibe off of him.
Well, so you think about it, right? Like, I'm gonna do whatever the company wants me to do. Let's try this. Let's go with the Hill Run. Hill Run didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I even saw people. So I went dark on social media. I guess Friday night. Like I watched the promo segment with Cena and Cody, which I thought was so fucking good. With him telling them like, "You right? Hey man, these past few months I've been tripping. Hey, but I'm back now.
Tap, my bad."
I saw a lot of conspiracy theories. Oh, there's got to be a double turn coming at. And I'm just looking, and I'm like, okay, of course anything can happen, but I'm like, it is clear as day. We're moving away from the Hill Run, right? It's time now. It is time to move away from the Hill Run. We got to get the belt back on Cody, and this win has to mean something. This cannot be a heel or another heel turn for Cody Rhodes. And this is what I talked about when I said a few weeks ago. I'm like, what they're trying to do is really, really hard. And everybody was like, oh, it's a double turn. No, it's not a double turn. You're trying to get to turn Cena without hurting Cody. And they did it. And they did it because of Cody. Because Cody said, this is what I want. Right? Like, if Cena would have just did it on his own, it doesn't work the same. So, kudos to them. It wasn't working. It didn't work. We know that they probably had other things planned. Travis Scott of it all. He was supposed to work, I guess, Money in the Bank. And I don't know if he's going to work SummerSlam too, but it was supposed to be a tag match with Cena, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever. It's not working. Throw it away. I'm not going to talk about this nasty heel run again until we got to talk about like some of the most failed heel runs in wrestling history. Then this is probably like number 1 or number 2. But outside of that, the moment that they created at SummerSlam with just the entrance and then that match, this is what it's about. Right? That's what it's about. And then the match, holy hell. Cena worked his ass off. Cody worked his ass off. I'm not going to go as far as to, after just watching it 3 hours ago to be like, oh my God, it's one of the best Cena matches ever. I'm not doing that at all. We've been watching Cena way too long just to be able to say that. But I can confidently say it's absolutely the best match Cena has had. I would say maybe since he's been back over like the last 5 years, whatever that timetable is. He comes and goes a little bit. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Everything worked. Everything they did worked. The false finishes worked. And I'm sitting here knowing 99.9% that John Cena is losing this match. And that AA from the top rope, after he had already kicked out of like 3 crossroads, I was like, this is some good shit, man. Like, this is awesome. So just kudos all around for what they did. Hill Run is over. We get babyface John Cena with the colors now. But what'd you guys think? What'd you guys think of that match?
Hyperbowl, I am ready to represent and say my notes here says that this was my most favorite Cena and Cody Rhodes match of all the times. The match started off and, well, first off, they kind of embraced each other like, boo, that's cool. Then they was nonstop action. At one point, I'm not even going to read my notes because I remember it so fully. At one point, I'm like, did Cena take speed or something or cocaine? Because he's moving like in such a way that like this dude who's however old he is, 50 years old, shouldn't be moving like this. Some of the moves that we were doing, like Cody hit Cena with like I think it's called like a Canadian Destroyer. I don't know what the name is, but and Cena took it. The AA off of the one table onto the other announcer's table. Like everything was there. Like they went from the moment that bell started to the bell ended. And again, we talked about how Brock came on, that made me mad. But that match to me was exactly my cup of tea. It wasn't high flying like sometimes we see with luchadors, but it was a nonstop action. And that's what I like, because I've been on here several times. I've been ridiculed several times that Cody would have a match, Roman would have a match that is so slow, so storytelling. And like, come on, hurry up and get to the point. It was there from the very beginning. Real quick, Matthew hated the match. He said that there was no storytelling at all in this match, and that they did go straight to action, but he's not here to really explain himself and what else he meant by that. But he actually didn't like the match at all. He was really pissed. He was like, he started calling Triple H something. I forgot what he said. But the point is...
Oh, he hates Triple H now.
Yeah, he hates Triple H.
Oh, my God. He hates Triple H. So when I took him to work, I was like, hey, man, so, like, what'd you think? He was like, I'll wait till you watch. I was like, no, just tell me what you thought about the match. Because he had sent me a text Sunday. It was like 5 o'clock. He was just like, all right, man, it's all about Cody. Like, I'm so hype on Cody right now. And of course, once again, like, I know Cody's winning the title back. So I'm like, so what you think? He's like, I'll wait until after you watch it. I was like, well, nothing you say is going to give it away. He was like, I'll wait till after you watch it, but Triple H is a fraud.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what happened? He was like, we watched all like the post stuff. He's like, that guy, man. So I can't wait to talk to him about it. Like when he gets home to see exactly what he didn't like. But that's interesting. E, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Your boy got his get back. Don't come on here and talk about like Cena didn't do it for you. You had to have some type of feels when you saw him run down in that ring.
Oh, I had none at all. No. That's for y'all. He did that for y'all, man. Like, look, I'm good. I am patiently waiting for his ass to retire so I can enjoy him on Max and watch him on the piece. Did you guys see the Superman movie, the last one that came out?
Yes, we went to go see it last week.
That was probably
fine.
The best Superman movie since the Christopher Reeve one. For me.
I love Man of Steel.
So, did you hear before you went to go see it? Like, anything you think this movie is going to be, throw it out your mind, just go see it. Did you hear that at all?
I stayed out of the hype. I wasn't hyped for the movie at all. Like, I'm over superheroes in underwear. So when I saw he went back to the classic 1950s, oh God. Like, I felt like I saw from a classic standpoint, it's there. But I'm like, man, the red draws over the blue, man. I'm not with that. Like, so when I saw they brought that back, I'm like, oh, I'm out the movie. I'm out. But we saw it when I was in Florida. The kids wanted to see the movie, and it was phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. I thought the guy who was Superman is a great Superman. I liked Lois. I liked everything about it. And I got a little popski when John Cena rolled up as the Peacekeeper. I liked the Peacekeeper. I thought that was a really nice show. So going back to the match, I am looking forward to John Cena, running his ass up out of the arena for the last time, right? And I can just watch him, play movie characters. He's a really good actor. He has a very awesome comedic timing. Charisma has never been a problem for him. I just don't like anything about the way he looks as a wrestler. I hate the way he wrestles. I think he's the shit.
No way,
dude. I think he's a better worker than Hogan ever was.
All right,
but he has the sloppiest, nastiest move. Everything he does looks uncoordinated, and it just looks horrific. But it was a good match.
You think this match was good or great? You think this match was great?
I thought Cody carried this slug of a man to a good match.
Wow!
This shows you the mathematician of my man Cody Rhodes, that he pulled a great match out of that slug in the ring. Because we've seen this man.
Hard, man. Cody was working really hard.
He's working hard.
Actually, without.
Come on now.
That was halfway through. That was my biggest takeaway.
Come on now.
Was Cody's working really hard, and it wasn't that Cena wasn't working hard too, but Cena's older, right? Like
Cody, look. John always works hard. He's like, so here's the thing. Right. Here's the thing. Like, he's grown as a wrestler, right? He went from being really crappy. He's somebody. Some people just don't have like he just like he looks clumsy, right? It's like when he wrestles, he
It's
has two left feet.
unorthodox, right?
Yeah,
There's
he has
definitely
like
unorthodox shit.
Yeah,
he
has
walks
two left
unorthodox.
feet. Yeah, he has two left feet. So his stuff always looks kind of discombobulated. And now he's like older, like, right? Semi-retired. So now it looks even worse. But he worked really hard. He's always been a hard worker. He's always been a hard worker. So yes, the match was good. Cody carried that slug of a man to a good match. And I had to text Brandon. I'm not sure if Rhodesia was live or she watched the match. So I texted Brandon and I said that we did it. No, I sent them the Jason Tatum emoji. I said, we did it. Like, right? I'm like, yo, we did it. And then my man, Brandon, I got his text up right here. He said, I have a newfound respect for Cody and Cena. And I replied back to him, I have a newfound respect for Cody. Fixed it for you. Fixed it for you. We did it. Now everything's right in the world, man. We got Cody back as champion because John Cena as a heel just was the poops. Like, right? And we can talk about the different reasons why. But it was the poops. But I do like John Cena back in this role as the fan favorite. I'm looking forward to the Brock feud and whatever else he does before he gets out of here, and I get to see him on Peacekeeper.
But you know what?
Peacemaker.
And I think you got to be potting a little bit. I just feel like there's no way there was nothing that didn't hit you in the fields about Cena. But we had to have that bad.
Super Cena was horrible. Corny Cena was horrible.
I'm talking about the match. I'm talking about just the match.
Oh, like, yeah, I told you, Cody. Yeah. Cody. Man, Cody carrying this man. No. I'm like, this is my guy. He is showing you internet smart marks why he is on top. Because this man is a smart, intelligent worker. I thought it was a phenomenal piece of business. And then I love seeing this is why I don't like John Cena, the wrestler, right? I'm just not into the character. But man, the man did good piece of business. He passed it to Cody. He passed it to because see, Hogan never did that. Hogan never passed.
Well, he did the Warrior.
Remember? Did he?
Begrudgingly, yeah. I mean, he did the business. He did the business, but yes.
Wait. No. Hogan, man, this whole smart hit Hogan was, right? You remember we did, Matt?
Yeah.
Like, you remember he kind of like did the thing, he like questioned God, like, you know what I'm saying? Now everybody like,
yep.
Hogan's questioning God, like, because you ain't see her.
Kicked out at 3.5 too.
Yeah, he kicked out at 3.5. So
what a worker.
So Ultimate Warrior pinned him, like, right? And as soon as like 3 hit, Hogan was kicking out. Like, right? And then Hogan didn't leave out of the ring right away. He started kind of beat on the mat a little bit. He started pointing up the guy like he was having a conversation with God, like he was questioning why he lost or whatever. So now you got Ultimate Warrior, like, right, you know, trying to celebrate, but everybody else is watching Hulk Hogan deal with having a major loss at a pay-per-view. So he still kept eyes on me, brother.
Can I ask a question real quick though?
Yeah.
So what was worse? Was Hogan passing the baton to Ultimate worse, or his lack of apology worse?
Oh, definitely his lack of apology. Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, he passed the torch off incredible. If you want to compare those.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Best in the world.
Okay.
No
but
doubt. You know, it is. There's an art in the kicking out at 3. Like when to do it. Like there's an art. I mean, there's an art in all this. I thought you were gonna big up Cena for the facial expressions at times. Him and Cody put on a masterclass with facial expressions, right? And like that's the stuff, you know, we grew up on. I mean, you were much more.
Let me just preface this though. I would never big up anything John Cena does in the ring. So you have to worry about that.
There you go. So you're fine because there's no way. I mean, there's no way you didn't have no feels going on.
No, none.
There's no way. I don't believe that.
He's like if you like face, he's a cartoon character. He's always emoting.
No, I'm talking about now we're in the match and we are needing to get emotion from the crowd without doing anything but what's going on in our facials. And I was going to say, like, you know, you used to watch AWA way before I did, right? Like I was a WWF kid through and through. So I do have a little bit of a bias when it comes to a lot of times on our show, we'll talk about, man, I wish this person would go to the WWE machine because then they can really learn a couple of things, right? And like that could be looked at or sounds like it's negative or disrespectful. Like these people are professionals and we're telling them they got to go somewhere else to learn how to be better. But Private Party is going to be better in the WWE machine than they were before. And yeah, part of it is they're younger too, but when you get somebody like AJ Styles, who was a top guy forever, wherever he went, And then for him to go to WWE and then say, I didn't know how to work until I went to WWE. There's credence in what we talk about. But a big thing are the facials. It's the camera work too, but it's the facials. And watching Cody tell a story strictly with his eyes at times in that match of the emotion that I want to evoke from the people who are watching. And Cena going from, and yeah, to your point, he's over the top, right? Like, that's just who Cena is. We only got 4 more months or 5 more months, so we got to appreciate it. But that's the type of shit we hated when he was Super Cena, beating through everybody, where he's just super goofy, over the top. But him going from that to, oh shit, maybe I don't have enough. Because it goes back to that promo on Friday, where he said the reason why I turned heel was I didn't know if I was enough. Like, so I had to take a shortcut because I didn't believe in myself the way I thought I could. Like, so we don't get this unless we have that failed heel turn. If he was incredible as a heel, I don't know how this turns out. Right? And then if he was a baby face, what will we have gotten for the last 4 months on TV? For Cody to get this shot back and get the belt back at SummerSlam. I mean, this was always the plan, right? Like, this wasn't a pivot of, oh, heel turn's not working, put the belt back on Cody. I don't believe that in the slightest. This was, we're going to go with this heel turn. We'll turn Cena back midway so he can finish off as a babyface and be beloved, and we can do the whole legit retirement tour on his half back, you know, his whatever he's got left. 12? I don't know how many he's got.
It was a little bit less than that, I think.
Yeah, it was just good, man, like, incredible. And they told it, they did it differently than what Gunther and Punk did. But I was watching those guys, and I'm like,
which guys?
Punk and Gunther. I was like, man, this is fucking Graps right here. Like, Punk was in his element. We ain't selling the story of I've been gone for 10 years. We ain't selling the story of I'm only here, you know, because the other place didn't work. That's been his thing before this. This has just been who's better. I'm better than you. You think you're better than me. Let's fight. And he was getting dog walked in that match. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't know how we're going to get Cena back on top. I mean, Punk back on top toward the end of this match, because nothing is going to be realistic. Like, he's getting beat down so bad. This could not just be a reversal of a finisher, and then now he's on top. And then we got the blood spot. And I was like, oh, that's genius. I don't know who came up with that. Bravo to that. I know Gunther's got like some real life stuff going on, so I think he is going to be gone for a bit. But
hey Matt, right before
I thought they were
you quietly segue to another topic, which is fine. I like that kind of stuff. Actually, keeps me on top of my toes. But I will say this though about the Cena and Cody match. That was probably one of the recent matches where I was really invested into like the finish. I want to say like probably like the last 6 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea who was going to win that match, and I was firmly invested in to seeing who would win. Like, the near finishes was working for me. Like, right, the kickouts, the FUs, you know, like all that was working for me. And typically I don't really get into matches like that to where I'm like on the edge of my seat and I'm questioning what's happening after each match. Because I personally don't like the kick out of finisher after finisher after finisher after finisher. I feel like that's a little overkill and a little too unrealistic for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really into it for this match. And it might have had something to be, again, I'm rooting for Cody. I want to see him back on top. But I also like what they were doing with John Cena. So at the same time, I was invested in both characters. I did want to see my guy get on top. So I'm like, every time, like, you know, Cody kept, like Cena would, when the Cody cutter, like when they hit the trifecta, and Cena kicked
you
out.
Knew it was over, right?
Yep.
Like, you knew it was over.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, my guy about to lose, right? I was like emotionally invested into that match. Sort of the last 6 minutes or so, really good for me.
So to that point, Cena has worked the style over the last few years is basically the finisher style, right? Like, that was what him and Rock did in their second match. It basically was just attitude adjustment, rock bottom. Attitude adjustment, rock bottom. And those matches can get tiring, to your point, because it's only finishers. and I would have to maybe go back and watch. Once again, I just watched it like 4 hours ago. But they did something different in the flow of that match where it worked. Like, significantly worked. And I don't know, once again, exactly what that is. Maybe it's because they're two top guys and you think when we hit the super finisher, that's it, and they kick out. Because it never once did I think like, all right, man, this is a little too unrealistic.
I will say, though, because of that, a lot of work was done outside the ring. So where you talk about the finisher spots, a lot of just finisher.
Yeah.
That could be
Good call.
overwhelming. But there was a lot of times where they were outside of the ring.
That's a good call. And that breaks it up.
Mm-hmm.
That breaks it up. I do hope, I don't know how you do it, you can easily do it with Brock. I kind of maybe want Cena to only work like these type of matches for the next 4 months. Because it allows so many different variables and spots that you can do that you can't do in just a regular traditional one-on-one match. Now, his final match, of course, straight traditional one-on-one match. But give me no holds bar with him and Brock. So we can get the plunder, we can do that whole thing. Because you can mask some things. Right? Like, we don't want to talk about it right now, but that's what I was most looking forward to with Roman, to see him. And Big Roman's been working. These last 2 matches, WrestleMania and SummerSlam, I sent Brandon a text yesterday, and I just said, and I'm not going to do it, but I said I could deep dive this match alone for like 10, 15 minutes on the podcast with just what Roman did in that match to make everybody and himself look the best as possible. He has reverted back to big dog status in regards to his in-ring work with what he's doing, jumping over the top rope, really working babyface style. But he's just, man, he's Roman. He's him, right? So we don't have to get into that part. But you're allowed. What I was really looking forward to that match was, I'm like, okay, what type of spots are they going to do? Because if we're doing a tag team spot, you're still Roman Reigns. You're still Jey Uso. Like, yeah, we know. All right, it's opener. It don't mean nothing at the end of the day. Like, there's nothing on the line. But what can we do to make it special? And of course, Heyman's there. Of course, Michael Hayes is there. But they did some really cool spots in there. And everybody, in my opinion, looked better coming out of it than they did going in. And that's always a win. If you can get 4 people to look better coming out than going in, and there was a finish to the match, wasn't a double count out, wasn't a double DQ, man, job well done, gentlemen. That was a hell of a way to start the show. And I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed the work they did.
If we're going to go back just real quick to Gunther and Punk.
Yes.
I will say that EA mentioned about not knowing who was going to win in that Cena Cody match. I think I was probably more like that in the Gunther and CM Punk match. Because, again, in my mind, yes, I hear the rumblings of Seth. It's on the internet and stuff like that. But in my mind, no, he's hurt. He's really shoot hurt. So it's going to be just Gunther and CM Punk in my mind. And a couple of those choke outs that Gunther gave to Punk, I was like, oh, he's done. At one point, Punk actually tapped, but they try to clean it up on commentary that on the pain that he was in. But that match
he was tapping his ass off. What was that about?
Yeah, he was tapping hardcore.
That's a tap.
That was a tap. That's not like, oh, let me figure my life out. No, that was a tap. But I thought that match was more of a like on the edge of my seat as far as who's gonna win that match. And that I was thinking that it was gonna be Gunther for a while. And I gotta give my props to Gunther. I know we talked about how trash his first title reign was as a heavyweight champion. And I know that it was not that good. We talked about that ad nausea. Kind of him and Priest had some really stale runs as champions. But I just really feel like you put him in like with Goldberg, like Gunther could work with anybody. And I don't know if that comes across to the regular fan and they can understand like someone who can actually wrestle with anyone. But I got to give props to Gunther because he is a heel in a traditional form of a heel and he can actually work anybody. So if he is gone for a while, hopefully he can figure out whatever he needs to figure out and fill his body up because he's worked a lot too. But that match to me was actually really cool as well.
Yeah, really good match. I think Gunther did a hell of a job in that match. Just his physicality. He lived up to his moniker, the Ring General. Like, right. And this run as champion, which was better than the first, because they let Gunther be Gunther, right? They let Gunther be the Gunther that when he was IC champion. I don't know. They was messing with the formula when he got the first title, and they were trying to make him like he was scared of Damian, and they was just doing a bunch of weird things with his character instead of letting this guy just be a killer serious heel, like no nonsense killer heel that's above everybody. Like, I don't know what they were doing, but this is definitely the best version of Gunther when he's that elitist, nasty ring general heel. He was a ring general in that match. Punk did a great job selling. Overall, really good match. I got to ask you, Matt, now let's get down to it.
Okay.
What do you think about that cash in, man? When Seth Rollins came out there, like, right, came out there with the crutches, and then he came out there saying, like, yeah, I still got the case, man. I'm going to be seeing you. Turned his back, turned around, started walking off, and then he stopped, dropped those crutches, stood up straight, turned around, threw off that brace, and started walking down into that ring, man. What was going through your mind when that was happening?
Genius. Because I thought we were getting the cash in. That wasn't the genius part. To me, the genius part was Punk won. I thought Seth would cash in before we had a finish. Right? Double down. They are just completely done for. Seth comes in, pins Punk. I thought that's what we would get. It's even better because now you don't have to give Punk a belt again. Right? Punk now has had it's only 4 minutes.
5.
He won the title. Right? he's got it. So for him to come out still with the briefcase, but got the crutches and then the knee, it brings you down, right? You're not down from like, oh, damn, but kind of like, oh, he's not cashing in. But I'm on your head, Punk. You already know me and you go back. That whole thing. All right, cool. That's a fun way to finish. When that fucker turned and dropped the crutches, I was like, damn, they did a masterful job. It was tremendous, man. Absolutely tremendous. Bravo to whoever came up with the pump fake on that one, because I think that added so much more than him just coming out and doing the thing. But if you think about it, they had to do it that way if you're telling the story properly. Because if you don't do that, then it goes to like, oh, so is he like, was he not hurt, or was he hurt but then he's fixed now? Like, did he have surgery? Right. We don't know about it. So doing it in that way, it connected the dot like, oh, you was faking it the entire time.
Let me set you up, Miss Rhodesia. You said that if this was all the work, that you was gonna write. So when it happened in real time, the way it happened, what was going through your mind?
Initially, I was like, thank you for still giving me Seth, because I love Seth. Seth is my greatest wrestler of all times. He's all 4 on Mount Rushmore for the men. So when he first came out and they were giving it to it on commentary, remember, he has until June to cash in, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going with this, like, thank you. At least Seth showed his face on SummerSlam. Thank you. And in my mind, I'm like, if he's really hurt, why is he actually traveling on an airplane and all that kind of stuff? But whatever, right? Not worry about logistics. I'm like, okay, well, he showed his face and he didn't interfere with the match. So it gave me even more of a like, see, Seth is the man. Like, he's not about to affect the match. You're going to win. And then I'm going to let you know that I'm here. So once I'm right, I'm going to come and get you. So, and they were saying that on commentary as well. So to me, I'm like, all right, bet. Perfect. I'm cool with that. And then he turned around, and that extra pause of them showing him turned around and not panning back to Punk, I was like, this mother effer here. So to me, I absolutely love it. Seth ended with the championship. That's what I've always wanted, Seth having a championship. But I'm still mad at the fact that he made me feel like he was hurt, to the point where, as when he came out on crutches, that I thought that it was like still legit a shoot injury. So we talk about Cena being a good actor. We need to get Seth some acting classes and put him in a movie, because I believed it the first time when he got injured in LA, the match at LA Night at Saturday Night's main event, and when he came out, I thought he was still injured.
Did you see he said he did an interview today or yesterday? He thanked everybody who knew it was a work, that it didn't leak.
Oh, that's cool.
I guess he thanked his daughter's teacher. I guess he told his daughter, like, Daddy's, gonna act like he has a boo-boo, but he's fine. don't tell anybody. He said first thing she did was go to fucking school and tell the teacher.
Oh my god.
So,
oh my god.
Yeah, Seth just said like, thanks for like nobody leaking it. You know, he was like, thank you for the people who, you know, took me around in airports, you know, wheelchairs that, of course, they don't know, right? But so that was cool. He just kind of said thank you to everybody who like went along with it, even if you didn't know you were going along with something. Like,
wow, so he was like in a wheelchair, huh?
Well, you have to though, right? Because
Yeah.
and this is where you can get the whole conversation of like working the boys
on the
and all that.
internet,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's that deep to where like some people would have an issue with it. But yeah, in order for this to be close to the vest,
Yeah.
you talking once again, you probably talking about Heyman, H. I don't know if Nick Khan has to know, right? And
His wife.
then maybe one of the agents. That's probably it. That's probably it. Because if you don't do that, everybody knows you're cashing in at SummerSlam.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was really good when it was happening. Now, here's the thing: when I'm watching it, and I don't like to be one of those guys, but I'm actually waiting for it to happen. As soon as Punk won,
Oh.
like I'm actually like, okay, it's like I'm there in the arena and I'm looking, like, okay, where's Seth at?
Yeah.
Because in the ways, if you think, and to me, I felt like the crowd was waiting for something too, because no one really got super hype for him, right? It seemed like he was like a long, like 5 minutes of nothing really happening, not a big celebration. There was no one running out to congratulate him. There wasn't really pyro, you know, and CM Punk just kind of standing in the middle of the ring, like he was waiting for something to happen. And to me, it seemed like the crowd was waiting for something to happen. Now, again, this might have been me in my mind at the time, but I'm actually waiting for Seth to come out the entire time, to the point to when he came down to the ring, like in the crutches, and he started walking away. I'm still waiting for something to happen. Like, right? I'm waiting. This is what I thought was going to happen. I thought that the Browns were going to come out and attack Punk. Right? And so Punk's looking side to side already, right? That's what I was kind of waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so for me, you know, I was one of those guys who, well, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a work. Like this cannot be a shoot, because it seemed weird to me watching it, but maybe that just was me in the moment.
So I watched the crowd reaction when he won, when Punk hit and I also love the two GTXs. Hell of a sell job by Gunther. I mean, once again, just pros being pros.
Yeah,
you could, just so many matches where it's like, man, fucking high level graphs, right?
Yep.
I know I say that a lot, but it is when it's done right. It just is. So the crowd reacted, but I also think, but it goes back to what I talked about a couple weeks ago when I said, in the story, we're not clamoring for Punk to win the championship. That's what was missing. So, you mentioned like the pyro, things of that nature. I don't think it was that. I think it was, okay, Punk won, cool. What's next? Because we weren't even talking about Punk winning the championship. It was kind of like when Jay lost to Gunther at that Saturday's main event. It was like, why the hell did you have this match anyway?
Exactly.
Like, nobody was even asked for Jay to be in the world title match. Like, okay, like, what was the point of that?
Yep.
Of course, it wasn't to that deep, but for me, that's what it was. It was like, so when he won, I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay. All right, they did put the belt on Punk, but I was still waiting. I'm just like, there's no way. Well, what I thought was, this is what I thought. So thank you for saying that. What I thought was, after Punk won, my mind immediately went to, well, shit, is Seth going to cash in tomorrow night on Cody? And they move Seth to SmackDown? Because remember, I was still on the time of, you got to keep Seth and Roman separated. Right now, Roman is feuding with the Browns. So you got night one, Punk and Gunther. Night two, of course, is Seth and Cody. So I'm like, all right, if we have Roman on night one, everybody knows Roman's not at night two. Cool. So when you won, I'm like, oh shit, okay. Then do you have Cody beat Cena for the championship? Same thing, carbon copy almost, right? Celebrates with the belt. Music hits. The Browns take out Cody. Seth wins. But then I'm like, okay, but then now you got Seth working SmackDown and the Browns still working Raw, because the Roman story is not over with. We see on Raw Monday, they went right back to the face-to-face with Seth and Roman, but Roman took 3 tsunamis. He's gone.
And a curb stomp.
Yeah, he's gone now. So we'll see you at we'll see you in War Games, bro. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Last thing on Roman. There were times where and I'm not saying this, but there were times when he was champion, I felt like he was working to not get hurt.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you finish your thought, but I'm gonna say this real quick. Prior to SummerSlam, I told Matthew I was getting a little bit irritated the 2 weeks or 3 weeks up into SummerSlam when Roman came back. I was getting irritated with them because, like, when the Brownies would jump them, they were always throwing like Roman over the announcer's table, and I'm like, that can be when those fluke injuries happen, and I was getting irritated about that. And again, I guess now to your point, because we didn't see that before.
Well, yeah, because like it felt like, just for me, his matches he worked was all about staying healthy to get to Mania. Staying healthy to get to Mania. And that's why I've talked about, and it's not just how he's bumping, but I mean, psychology is really there with him and things he's doing. But he took a lot of chances in that match Saturday that he hadn't had in a couple years. And even the match he had at Mania, that triple threat match, was strong, really strong work. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe it's like, hey, you got to get to, Mania 40, and that's like whatever you do, protect yourself to get there. Yep. Typically, they don't work that way. Of course, you work that way and you end up getting hurt. But there's a stylistic change for the better. It is. And he's a babyface. And another thing that they did too that I think is tremendous, when you talk about like just high level, Roman has sympathy now. Think about what that looked like. 4 years, title reign, heel, winning everything, having help, never won anything on his own for the most part, et cetera, et cetera. And now here he is, a sympathetic figure in just a few months. With Heyman, leaving him. It's good stuff. So we talked about the two main events. Talked about Roman and Jay. Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton.
What about them?
What y'all think?
I actually thought it was a really good match. I was so disappointed in the finish as far as Tiffany retaining, only because, like I said, I was getting on that bandwagon. Okay, this is Jade's time. I think I even said it on the show, like, if Jade doesn't win, I'm going to probably, again, my own fandom, put her back down here, because, again, you're not the champion. How can you not beat Tiffy? But I actually thought between the two of them, it was a really good match. I would not have thought that Jade was green. And again, maybe that's kind of disrespectful to say that. But nonetheless, the two of them together have only been working combined, 5 or 6 years total in wrestling. So to me, I thought that was a really great match. And knowing that, how long they've been wrestling, that didn't play a part in what we got out of their match. I actually really enjoyed it. It might have been probably one of Jade's best looking matches. Just didn't like the finish.
Yeah, I thought the match was fine. I told you that girl was gonna be okay. She'll get there. She keep working. Better talent. She'll get better and better. I thought the match was fine. I thought the finish was fine. I just don't think that I don't think the best version of Jade is as a babyface. I feel like she's ready made for someday a huge heel run, because her confidence, and we've seen what she did over in AEW. I feel like we bring that version of Jade to WWE, it's going to be unstoppable. And then, probably another 6 months or so, she'll be a little bit better ring for you guys. She'll have a couple more matches under her. I think she's going to have a hell of a heel run someday.
I think that's sooner rather than later. And I'll tell you why. A few weeks ago, I quote tweeted somebody. They were talking about Tiffany and Jay, like face versus face match at SummerSlam doesn't make too much sense. And I quote tweeted and just said that it won't be face versus face by time the bell rings. I thought they were going to go all in on turning Tiffany Stratton, and they didn't. And so I'm watching the match.
Turning her what? Just to be clear.
Heel.
Got it.
Having her go full blown heel.
Okay.
Back to her, because And that's a whole conversation we can have too. We can have it really quick here. Lead up to WrestleMania, we talked about her and Charlotte, and it was a position of I wanted Charlotte to win the championship. E definitely didn't. I forgot where you landed, Rhodesia, on that. But Tiffany, from a story character presentation, they said it numerous times on SummerSlam. She's undefeated in 2025. Where she's at does not translate to her being undefeated on television. Meaning, she is not bigger than what she was at the beginning of this year, enough to say, I have been undefeated, where I've beat the likes of whoever she's beaten. You kind of just go down. Typically, when you can do that, okay, you've raised at a certain level, and she hasn't. We knew the build for her and Charlotte wasn't the best, so they started bringing up real life shit. Then we got locked in, and they've really done nothing with Tiffany since, of anything like, major. So I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to turn her. Jade comes out, to your point, E, and this is just Jade. She comes out, she walks to the ring, she's flexing, she looks at the camera, she goes, they love me. You hear that? And I was like, ooh, baby, they ain't no babyface shit. Like, but that's her. That's who she is.
That's her. That's who she is.
Fast forward, she loses the match. I thought the match was good. Actually, I love the finish.
When I say finish, I'm sorry, I meant I didn't like the Tiffany retain. I like the finish. I love the match. I love the match.
Jade wasn't winning this match. There was nothing that told me Jade was winning this match. Because even if Jade was winning this match, remember, I was under the assumption of Jade wins and then she gets cashed in on by Naomi. She ain't champion anyway. Like, yeah. Once again, at where she's at, it's not time for her to win the belt. Like, there's nothing there. So I go on to X right after I end up watching Raw to see if there's anything I was missing. And I got something for you for Tiffany, too, that I saw, that I saved. She tweeted and said, y'all win. So there's a shot of her, looking sad when she was sitting after she lost. And she said, y'all win. And there's been a few tweets where people were like, you suck. And she's like, I know. I think the heel turn's coming now. And I think that's why they didn't do the flip with Tiffany. I think you can do that with Jade now. Naomi's on SmackDown. Bianca should be back. They said as early as this Friday. There's your ready-made feud. Is Bianca and Jade. Y'all want to talk on that before I give you this Tiffany Stratton stuff?
I'm just going to say this when it comes to Tiffy. And this is probably, I don't know, Matt, if we talked about this on the show or if it was us talking just one-on-one. I feel like there is so much missing with her being just who she is. Like how you feel about Damian Priest just being who he is. Like there's just like a disconnect for me and Tiffy. I love Tiffy in NXT. Loved her. So happy when they had called her up from NXT. And I just feel like they did not bring that same exact character up. Now, of course, when she first comes up, I mean, we've seen it now, like maybe with Stephanie, she probably has been like the only person who actually came up from NXT that actually is an extension of their career from NXT. But for Tiffy, it just seems like she's not being her. Like even her cadence, like just talk how you feel.
Something missing. No, something missing.
But it's like she's trying to remember a script. It's like, and again, it's probably the script. It sounds not authentic to her. And that brings me to that point of what you were saying, that the heel, I just thought that I think both of them are best served as heels. I really do. And I know that's an easy way out on these conversations. Like, how do you get better on a mic, or how do you get more people to believe what you're saying? Just turn them heel. But there still is a craft and there's an art to being a good heel as well. But I just feel like Tiffy is not being the true her. And if they're going to keep her a face, then they have to do a better job in helping her find and pull and grab how can she be a face by still being her, because I'm missing it. So for her to be a women's heavyweight champion, like, to me, I feel like, not that we being so short, I think she looks fantastic. She's good in the ring. She's exciting. She's easy on the eyes to look at. But as far as like me believing when she talks on the mic, it's almost like, and that's not her gimmick. Like if that was her gimmick and her style and condescending, then perfect. But it's not. If she's a face, I got to be able to get behind you and believe in you. Not saying you have to be an underdog, but I got to be able to feel it. And it just seems like there's a disconnect where in NXT, it was nothing like that.
Real quick for egos on that, the other part of it, they haven't given her quality storylines and opponents. So after she had Flair, We had nothing until we had the 2-week build of her and Trish. And then we got face over face with Jade where we don't have any beef. I just won the Queen of the Ring tournament, so I'm taking you on at SummerSlam.
That's
right.
fair.
Like there's nothing there where you're like, oh man, she really went out there and smashed it because no, it's kind of just matches right now.
Yeah, I see it. But you think about Tiffany and NXT. She started out as the billionaire's daughter. Right. She was a spoiled rich girl, right? And she just was the spoiled arrogant girl, right? And then she was that girl going to the main roster, and she got turned babyface because the crowd was cheering her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? So really at this point, who is her character? She's
I
a
don't know.
spoiled, rich, cocky girl that the fans like, right? So she can't really play up into any of the things that made the fans like her as a babyface because those aren't characteristics that are heroic. So she has to kind of play down that a little bit. So she has to kind of find a different voice as a babyface character. So really it's about her taking her character to another level or being a different character entirely. Now, Ric Flair was able to be a babyface back in the day because Ric Flair was Ric Flair. He knew who he was as a character, heel or babyface. Ric Flair was Ric Flair. He was more than just the limousine ride and jet. His character was his character. Like, I don't think Tiffany has really found her voice outside of the actual gimmick she started with.
So real quick, she was on Logan Paul's podcast, and it says, I just wanted to share this real quick. It says she revealed she was out injured for so long in NXT, and I remember this, but I didn't know this part, of course, because of a road rage incident where a guy stomped on her face. She said, I don't know if I should talk about this, but I'm just going to talk about this. When I was in NXT, after one of my matches, I cut somebody off in my parking garage, and they were yelling at me through their car. So I pulled over. This is where my big balls come into play. And they pull over. And the guy gets out of the car. So then I get out of the car. And we're talking shit. And then his girlfriend gets out of the car. And I started talking shit with the girlfriend. And I push her. She pushes me back. We start fucking brawling. And then she takes her long ass nails, digs them in my braid, and gets me down to the ground. And this is where it takes a turn. The guy just fucking stomps right on my face. I broke a face bone. Nobody knows this. Broke a face bone. That's why I was out for so long in NXT. I still don't have filling in my tooth right now. I have a big foot mark on my face too. I was trying to find the people that stomped on my face, and I didn't want to start anything again because I didn't want them to try and sue me if they found out who I was. I left my phone there, got in my car, and I was obviously crying. I had to go back to the parking lot and grab my phone, and they started chasing after me. So she's a fucking troublemaker.
Nobody deserves to get jumped. Definitely by now, dude.
Nobody needs to be stomped in the face.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair between the two of them. And if she got her ass whooped and the girl stomped on her face, that's one thing. Because that's, again, you got out your car and let's go.
Well, she started off. She cut him off in the garage.
Yeah.
So she was.
Yeah,
she got to relax. She's a heel.
Damn.
Yeah, of course, you don't want nobody getting hurt. I'm joking with that, but
but no, that's
stop being an asshole, Tiffany. You won't get stomped in the face.
Great. Okay, let me come back from that comment there. I'm just saying, if she's a spoiled brat, rich. Okay, perfect example. And she even came out in uniform like that. I don't know if it was NXT or main roster, but be Clueless. I used to love the show Clueless with Stacey Dash, and I forgot.
You said uniform. What's a uniform?
Like the uniform of Clueless. They're the preppy girl, because we were talking about a billionaire preppy girl. That's who Tiffy is. Yeah. But I mean, when they went in Clueless, they were at a Catholic school or a private school.
Oh,
so they had to be in uniform.
Got it,
so the point that I'm making is that I love the girls. Too. I love the girls. I love Clueless. Clueless was fun. So you were a rich, entitled girl. You were a brat, but you were still fun and cool. And I can not relate, but I can be like, okay, I can get behind you. I'm just saying, I think there is just something just missing.
No, those are two different characters, though. The Clueless character, and I know what you're saying about the rich, but that girl was a rich girl, but she actually was a nice girl, like in a lot of ways, right?
Which
that
one?
was trying to grow on
Clueless. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but Tiffany has never shown that range.
Nice.
Yeah, she never showed that range.
Easy by the parking lot story.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah.
Just turn Tiffy heel, okay? That's
Turn
what
the
she.
heel.
Well, no,
Yeah, Valkyrie, turn the heel.
I think Jade. Well, no, we can't
Got
have
both of them
yeah,
heels.
Well,
we
before
can't
we
Can't
have
get
go
both
different
canceled.
heels.
places. Have them go. Well, Naomi's
go
on
Jade
Raw.
first, I'm guessing, right?
Naomi's on Raw, so get Jade over to Raw. Boom. But no, I guess Naomi is. No, you're going with Bianca and Naomi and
Yeah, and Jade.
yeah, Jade. So never
Speaking of
mind.
Naomi, I was so happy that match turned out as good as it was. I was worried if it didn't, people would blame her. Now,
I can
once
see
again,
that. I can see that. Yeah.
she's not at the level of an in-ring worker like Bianca is, right? Not many people are. Bianca is fucking her. We know
Yeah.
that. But I was worried because I'm like,
Really?
okay, we saw that. Yes, I was. I'm like, we saw this match at WrestleMania. Best opener in WrestleMania history, in my opinion. I know some people say Bret Owen. I love Bret Owen. To me, this was it. And I was there in person. I never watched it back on TV. For me, that's the best opener in history of WrestleMania. And then we got Rhea, Iyo by themselves at Evolution. Match of the year candidate. Smoked it, killed it, destroyed it. And they ran it right back. And I'm like, this match doesn't come close. They're going to point at Naomi and see, she's, whatever that looks like. And that wasn't the thing. I even love the way I don't know if TJ was the producer for that match or what, but I love the way they mapped that match out. Like, she dominated the first third of that match. Like, typically you don't see that. Like in triple threat match, you see the back and forth. Somebody goes out and they go. It was structured a little bit differently, but they had a hell of a night. Hell of a night again. And Rhea and Iyo continues to show just how awesome they are. But very happy for Naomi. And it was cool that I didn't know her dad played guitar. So when they showed him, I said out loud, I was like, that's her dad. Never seen her dad before. I just, you could just feel it. You could just tell. And they said it on commentary. I was like, damn, that's really cool. So, I mean, all in all, a hell of a weekend for Naomi. Still working that gimmick like nobody's business. Continue down on Raw with her walking away the way she was. She's fantastic, man. Like we've always talked about just how great she's been, but I'm glad they didn't take the title off of her.
100%. And I don't think it was needed because I think we even talked about the whole when you drop a title, it really shouldn't be in a triple way. The story between Rhea and Iyo shouldn't be destroyed or changed in a triple way. That is reserved for them, the two of them. When Rhea finally beats Iyo, that got to be just a singles match between the two of them. But when she came out, she being Naomi came out, and her dad was playing. I didn't know that. I didn't say, "Oh, that's her dad." I was like, "Oh, that's cool. It's her brother playing guitar." That was the energy I was on originally. And then when they pulled up, they showed the graphic, Naomi's dad. I almost broke out in tears because it was just like, how incredible is this? That for both of them, I get to get played out as a world champion. I get to get played out by my dad, and then I would only imagine as a parent myself, being able to play my kid to the ring. That is just some beautiful stuff right there. So when I first saw that, I was like, oh, this is cool. Now, the rest of SummerSlam night one, the bookends, the beginning and the end, I didn't really care too much for overall, the show itself. But I was like, this is incredible right here.
That was night two.
Well, no, sorry, night
match.
two. I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't like
I didn't like
the rest
night
of night two?
Well, I'm sorry, night one, I didn't like night one. I'm thinking about when Roman and Jay started the show, and then the end with Gunther and Punk.
Oh,
to me, the in between of night one, I couldn't really care for the middle part of it.
We getting towards that time limit for me. So, but I got a couple questions, but I thought the match was good too. I'm glad Naomi won. Rhodesia, what did you think about that Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria match?
I would say that the match itself was cool. I think the two of them are really good in the ring with each other. I think that Lyra is going to be a great wrestler for a very long time. Unless she decides to leave and start a family or do whatever she wants to do outside of wrestling. But I felt like Bayley was going to interfere, and I felt like that was going to be the reason why Lyra loses is because of Bayley. But it just felt just a little bit awkward of how they placed Bayley, where they placed her at. It was almost just too predictable. Why was Bayley there in the audience or there to be able to jump the barricade at that exact time? I thought that was a little bit of lazy booking. How else would he bring Bayley in? I don't know. So again, I'm talking out of two sides of my neck. I just didn't like how Bayley got introduced at the time she got introduced at the perfect timing. that to me just was like a miss for me. But I like the fact that it ended that way, and then now Bayley and Lyra has this thing. But Lyra even said on Raw, "Hey, I don't love you. I mean, I don't like you. I don't hate you. Let's just go our separate ways." But we know there's still something there. But overall, I did like the match. I'm happy that Becky didn't lose. So there's still, I think, a lot on both sides between Lyra and Bayley and Becky to be able to sink our teeth into. And now it seems like there's other people that's ready to get into that Intercontinental Championship too. So I'm excited for it. But I did like the match a lot. I just, the Bayley part was just a bit of a miss for me, how she got introduced in the match.
What say you, Matt?
It just felt like the match just kept going on and on and on. And I could be wrong on my assessment. Once again, remember how much I watched in the last, 8 hours.
It was almost 25 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like it. And not... I could have been okay if I just fast forwarded through it. Which is interesting because Lyra and Becky have had awesome matches before this. It wasn't catching my attention. The tying of the hands together, I get it, but then it went on a little too long, in my opinion. I saw somebody on social media when I was on there for like the 5 minutes where they were like, this crowd, fuck New York. They get hyped for Brock Lesnar, but then the women are busting their ass and like you could hear a pin drop. Once again, like me watching it in real time when I was watching it, I was just like, okay, well, the match just isn't that intriguing to me right now. It just wasn't. Like, and it's fine, that's okay. But I've enjoyed everything that Lyra and Becky has done before this more than what I got on night 2 of SummerSlam.
I feel the same way. That was my biggest thing. I was like, damn, this is a long ass match. So I started modding my game. I started doing this is a long match. I stopped and I felt like I blinked out for probably longer than I should have. And I said, oh shit, SummerSlam's still on, right? And
it's still going.
And I look, I'm like, oh, they still wrestling? Because I felt like I had like blinked out for about at least a good 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And when I kept watching the match, I don't know what it was about the match. Again, it just wasn't grabbing me. But what I was watching, it just wasn't like the near falls. Like, so we saw something similar in the Cody and Cena match. Like, Lyra kept kicking out of the manhandle slams and the different varieties, and I think she got kicked out of the super manhandle slam. And I was like, man, she just doesn't seem like the type of wrestler that's kicking out of finishes like that. Like, it just wasn't believable to me as I'm watching it. And then I felt like the zip tie spots was very hokey, especially when she put her arm like behind her. She's outside, she was beating with a kendo stick. Because like, what was stopping her just from lifting her arms off of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was stopping her from, just lifting her arms off the back, right? She wasn't trapped.
That wasn't the spot to take it off.
Exactly. So now I'm like, all right. So now I'm watching this. I'm like, this seems very contrived, right? And I think at one point in the match, I think when Lyra was doing the belly to belly on Becky, her hand slipped out of the damn
right.
They
thought the hands broke.
They Cole said, he's like, oh, did you have belly to belly in her hands? Oh no, it's not. I was like,
she putting the bitches back in. I'm like, all right, like this is when you know, like when they start making mistakes like that, that's when you know this shit's going too long. Maybe they gave him 25 minutes at the end of the day. Like, all right, what else can we give this time to? But I feel like the match itself probably could have been 15 minutes. It was 15 minutes too long.
You didn't need that long, right?
No.
And like, I'm all for, that's what these shows are for. Especially when you got a awesome feud like this. Like, I love the video package. Like how long they've been in a story for, which is like, once again, so cool. And this is, we always hear about Randy Orton back in the day. Like, if Orton wasn't interested, you could tell. And there's been a lot of times Orton wasn't interested because we could tell. He was just kind of going through the motions. Mm-hmm. But like, when you do this, like, to be able to be like, oh, you're about to be in a 6-month story with X person, this is what it's going to look like. Like, these girls have been telling this story since NXT, right? A year ago or whenever that was when Becky was down in NXT.
Yep.
So to know, like, oh, we're still working these stories, which is that's the awesome part. I do have a question. So you talked about the wrist spot. So on Dynamite last Wednesday, Christian had an off night on the mic. Jesus Christ. really off night on the
You
mic.
being super critical on him.
Really off night. And it's cool.
It was rough a little bit.
It was really off night.
I'm conducting my business.
Man, every time he flubbed, right? Like, all right, dude, we got it.
Ain't nobody talking, right? Nobody
said one word.
Nobody heckling him. Nobody heckling him.
Kristen, keep going. We trying to listen.
right. Nobody heckling you, sir.
Right. Go ahead. We listening.
So they did the spot with the concerto. And, the camera showed it, but it wasn't even close to the head.
The first shot was awful.
They were making fun of it. And then Baron Corbin had responded to a tweet, and he said something to the fact of like, one of those like, wait till you find out like Incredible Hulk doesn't destroy buildings or something like that. It was something to that effect. And I'm a little indifferent about it. Like for me, I shouldn't see through your work.
Yeah.
Of course, we can see through everything, right? Because we know what we're looking for. It was funny me watching WrestleMania 3. So when Hogan died, I was in South Bend, Indiana. And we went to a bar that night where they filmed the movie Rudy, which was fantastic, awesome. We didn't even know that was a thing. But they were showing WrestleMania 3 on one TV, and then on the other TV they were showing like Hogan's biggest matches. So a lot of it was Saturday Night's Main Event, whatever. But they were showing WrestleMania 3, and they started from, of course, just match 1. And it was funny me watching, and I forgot WWE allowed it blading back then. So there's like second or third match, Hercules Hernandez. He grabs the chain and he hits my guy in the head, and he's going for the blade, and the blade is in the wristband, and I don't know he's going for the blade. I'm watching though, and I'm like, ooh, he's going for the blade. Like, but I'm like, that can't be, because I'm thinking, of course, like after
currently
there was no bleeding.
There's no more blade.
Of course, he comes up, color all over the place. So like we know what we're looking for, but how do you guys feel about when you can completely see through either punches, kicks, a move? Like, does it take away for you? Like, are you out, or do you have the feeling of Baron Corbin where it's like, hey, they're not really trying to kill each other. Like, yeah, it's sports entertainment. You're going to see through some of the stuff.
You mean like when Gunther tried to stomp Punk? He wasn't even there. So
imagine that, and then imagine if Punk completely sold it, like he got shot.
Got
You're just
it.
like,
Okay.
all right, man, like that.
I would say I give a little bit of grace to that, but because shit happens, sometimes somebody might have an off night. But for something like a concerto, for something like that, just make sure you get the right camera angle. It'd be different if we were there and we saw it differently. We saw it on TV. You have a production company like this. Make sure you get it. The second shot of it from like the back of them looked great. But when you went from the side of it, it was nowhere near his head. So just maybe film that a little bit differently. But I'm not as critical, because no, I don't want you to take what a concerto is supposed to be. I don't want you to really take that. I'm okay with that. I give a little bit of grace. It just can't really happen over and over and over again.
I feel like it's unprofessional, to be completely honest. That's like paying your money going to a magic show, and you can obviously see that it's not really magic, because the magician is so bad at what he does that he's making it obvious that he's pulling cards from out of his arm, right? Like I'm paying to see something spectacular. And so when it's not spectacular, I have an issue with it. So when with the concerto spot, like, no, I don't want the dude hitting him on the head. I don't really like hardcore wrestling. I don't like none of that. I don't like seeing people hurt themselves like that. I know that wrestling's a physical sport, and they're hurting themselves every time they're making bumps, right? 'Cause I'm not falling on concrete, goddammit. Like that's crazy. However, it's unprofessional, because from a production TV, if from a TV show, you should know how you're supposed to film that spot, right? So if it looks better from the front or from the back or whatever it is, you have that conversation. Okay, I'm going for this. Yeah. This is where you film me. Period. This is kind of what I was telling you guys when you guys went to the AEW show, and like I said, just the way the show looked on TV, the show didn't look professional. Like, I shouldn't see the cameraman and their cords on camera, and then I see them trying to move the cords out of the way so the wrestler can do spots. Like, right? You can see the wrestlers waiting for the cameraman to get out of the way and to move their course so they can safely perform maneuvers. Like, I should have to see that on TV. That looks unprofessional. And especially when you got people watching this kind of stuff, they're looking at it like, oh, look at this face shit. Like, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm much closer to you, E, with that. Like, and I thought maybe because so when I saw Corbin say that, I was like, damn, maybe I'm a little hard. But then I'm like, no, the beauty of wrestling. Take Bret Hart. Bret Hart would kick you right in your face, and you would never bruise. Right? Like there's a talent to making this look like it hurts. Gunther's blood spot. He comes up and they're talking about, I think Gunther may have a broken nose. His blood is on his
from here.
head.
It's coming from here. It's coming from here.
Close to his.
Right.
And then, on Raw, they said like he had something orbitable. And blah, blah. And
But
I'm like,
orbital
okay,
was
well,
still here-ish, or maybe it could be here too.
Like,
But point is the forehead.
But I was good something like that because say there's certain things, right? Like so, like all right, if they miss a kick or a punch or whatever, I feel like it's all in the follow up. Like right, because it's here's the thing: when you're going through a fight, like right when you throwing wild blows, not all of them gonna connect. Like you might swing wild and miss that boy, so that means the next one coming through got to be the one that hit. Like so, this is a different way. Like with Michael Cole in that instance, right? Michael Cole is making up shit. He don't know where he's bleeding from, right? Like you know what I'm saying? Hey, like Michael Cole coming watching the baseball game. When he looked down, like I think it's he watches the baseball games when he's watching wrestling, right on Monday.
I know he's drinking. I know he's
doing all kinds of shit.
all the time.
Right?
I was
So
like, he's my guy right
Mike
there.
might took his eyes off of it. Now he's making up something, right? He's a storyteller, right? He's telling stories. Like, he's bleeding. Gotta be from his nose. No, Mike, it's from his forehead. It gotta be from his forehead. I mean, like, so who knows? Like, I can. It's certain things I can excuse. I just feel like there's a certain way from a production standpoint that you should film these things to where you're not seeing it on TV.
And what I'm hearing is that it is really kind of maybe on the production side, and more grace is given to the wrestler themselves. Is that kind of the combined agreement?
Well, to me, I feel like if you can't, this is just me as a fan and somebody who's been watching this for almost 40 years now. If you can't do something that looks real, don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's how I would look at it.
That's like in real life. Like, right? If you can't do a task correctly, don't do the task.
Don't do it.
Right? Like,
don't do
right?
it. Just don't do it. What else? I don't have anything written down. I know I wanted to bring up Karrion Kross. Is there anything? I mean, this isn't pertinent. It's kind of pertinent to us because we're fans of him on the TFW pod. But anything else that we're missing? We hit the women's matches. We hit the main events. We hit the TLC match. I thought, Ciampa. That Ciampa spot should go down as one of the better spots in TLC match history.
Why am I blanking?
When they went to go do the Edge, who was it? Jeff Hardy? Matt Hardy spot? The spear off the top of the ladder. And Ciampa was hanging, and he actually...
and he went up?
Man,
so that was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was so clever. Yes.
Whoever came up with that spot.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
I'm sure the boys did. I know, like, Gargano used to always watch, like, old matches before, like, some of his NXT stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. I like the Candace spot, too.
I gotta say
all in her knee.
I gotta tell you something, man. I think that we're gonna get to Karrion Kross in a minute because I feel like he's underutilized and underrated. And the crowds are starting to pick up on that. Like, yo, this guy is talented. I want to see more of this character. I think DIY is another team that's underrated. I feel like both of those guys, they look good. They look the part. They are fantastic wrestlers. We've seen what they did in NXT. I think from a character standpoint, I feel like they kind of found their voice as heels on that show. But for whatever reason, it's not connecting. And we saw them on full display in that match, how great in-ring workers that they are. I feel like they need to figure out, right? And they've been giving them chances on SmackDown. Like, right? They've given them quite a few chances. But I still feel like they're worth investing in. Maybe moving them over to the Netflix audience might kind of give them some different eyes so people can kind of see the good work that they're doing, see some of the character work that they're doing. Because those are good. They are good characters. They know their character. Like, they're articulate. They're really good in their segments, and then they're really great in the ring. There's something there with those guys.
There is, but my worry with them going to Raw is SmackDown has the much better tag division.
But something's wrong. Something's missing with the entire damn show, man. I don't know. I don't want nobody to get fired. Let's not say nobody get fired, man. There's too much of that going on.
You trying to write somebody off like
right?
that?
No. Everybody, I don't want nobody to get fired. Like, but let's hire some more people to fix that show. Cause that show is 2 hours and still boring.
You talking about SmackDown, right?
Sheesh.
SmackDown, man. Like, no, like Cody becoming champion is not going to fix the 2-hour entirety of that show. There's something missing from that show. They have the characters, they have the wrestlers, but something's off with that show.
Excuse me. So, you know what I think part of it is? You had Drew and Orton in a feud that we didn't care about as hardcore fans. Oh, I'm just say us. I'm not speaking for nobody. I didn't care about the Jelly Roll shit.
I didn't watch the match.
Did you watch or did you listen to Damian Priest on Cody's podcast? E?
No. I don't watch it. Actually, I don't listen to many podcasts nowadays, to be honest with you.
So I was on the road for a while somewhere, so I listened to like 3 of them. I love Cody's podcast. Yeah, it's fantastic because they really kind of get into. It was great because it was him. It was actually that episode. It was Priest and Cody, and they were talking about the difference.
What's that? I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt. I just want to acknowledge this right now. So we got some more compliments for Cody. We acknowledge that he's a good wrestler. We acknowledge that he carries Cena.
We've always loved Cody.
No, you have not always loved.
Let him pod.
We have not always loved.
Right. Just like how John Cena and Cody match was at the most fantastic match in life.
This is Rhodesia saying that she's always loved CM Punk too. No, we have not.
Oh no, I never always loved CM Punk, but I've always loved Cody. I've always respected Cody Rhodes. I've always respected Cody Rhodes. He was just going against my tribal chief.
Rhodesia, let him pod.
Okay, sorry. My bad. Okay. Yes, finally.
Now Matt has said he enjoys Cody's podcast content. We winning, y'all. We did it. We is back, Cody.
It's a great pod.
We did so for daddies. Keep going, Matt.
They were talking about the difference for doing the job and doing the favors for a wrestler. And just what that looks like, right? Losing is losing, but there's how you do it. So it was tremendous conversation around that he had with Priest. But that guy, when I'm listening, I'm like, oh, that's why I'm not connecting to Priest on TV. If that guy who was on that podcast could translate to television, he's out of here. He's out of here. But, and I know, like, he's closer to what we saw in NXT. Remember when he was like the player in NXT? He'd be in the hot tub with the 4 women with the champagne and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's Priest. He's a lot like me in regards to he just want everybody to have a good time. We drinking, we having a good time. Everybody around me gonna have fun. He talked about that numerous times. But it's interesting because we have talked about Priest. We've said like, damn, there's something missing. It's him being able to bring himself to that character. Like, you listen to that podcast and you're like, we transitioned from that to fucking All Rise. Like, there's no connection to that. Even like his New York, Puerto Rican accent, you can tell he tries really hard to mask it on television because a lot of his T's were D's on the podcast. Like, he's just being himself. And I would love for them to bring him on TV. Now, I don't know how you make money with that guy, right? I don't know how you make money with the guy who is cool with everybody. Everybody loves. He likes to drink and enjoy just everybody. You got to kind of figure that out. But it would be great to be able to bring him onto TV. But I'm like, that's the disconnection.
We kind of saw it somewhere. We kind of saw it somewhere in Team Environment and Judgment Day. He was a big part in those backstage segments.
Yes.
And in the group setting.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, like just a couple things like take it easy. Like he had a couple of different things. We talked about it before. I think he might just be a guy that can kind of play off others more than lead spotlight himself.
Yep. But no, so you were talking about SmackDown. So we'll see now that Cody's back with the championship. I think that's going to help SmackDown, honestly, tremendously.
You said Bianca might be back as of Friday.
Bianca will be back. We should have Drew out of the Jelly Roll situation. So we'll see. We'll see. What else? Anything else before Karrion Kross?
I just have 2 quick things.
I just want to make sure we're not missing like something crazy that people be like, how did y'all not talk about that said match? Or
just 2 things. There's 2 touch points. One, I didn't get to it earlier on the Cody Cena match. Cena threw a whole steel steps at Cody, and Cody took it. That's
dude, he threw it. He didn't even throw it where he could protect his.
No, he threw it at him. He ECW style, old school ECW style. Threw it right at him. And again, we don't need to deep dive this at all because again, my emotions to it is not there. But I just have to give respect to AJ Styles. and him being over 50 years old and still being able to go in the ring as a technician that he is, he looks, no pun intended, phenomenal, and I have to give props to him. Unfortunately, I didn't care about the match, and there was no emotional investment there, but I cannot go this rest of this pod not giving him props for him being able to still go in the ring. He's probably one of my favorite technicians today.
I'm glad you represented for him.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you know, he's not 50. He's over 50 years old.
He's over 50, isn't he?
No.
What is he at?
He was born in 77.
So what
48.
makes that?
He's 48.
Oh my God, that's close enough.
It's not over 50 though.
Ain't 50.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's not over 50,
Okay.
right?
Come
Yeah, you
on
can't do
now.
that.
Oh my
You
God.
can't do that.
No, don't get that to a
you
man
can't just
yet.
add 700
You
plus
can't
days.
Okay, so
You
he's
so
48 years
Come on,
old.
man.
He's 48 years old. He's
Over
over 45. Is that better? He's over 45. Is that better?
Yeah.
But hell, shit. He said, "Yeah, give me every year." But look, shit, that's still better than somebody who's 38. He's going in the rings and looking the way he does better than some 38-year-old. So I just have to give AJ Styles his props, who was born in 1977.
I know you shouted out Candice LeRae. Hell of a bump. I was happy for her that she was able to show off that she can. She's a tough mother trucker.
Yep.
I love that. We talked about TOC. We talked about Cena and Cody, of course. I think that's everything. E, you got anything before we get to Kross?
Let's get to Kross and
Okay.
finish her up.
Yeah, because I tell you what I didn't like. I get it. This is just me on how I watch wrestling. And it's funny because speaking of Brandon again, he had sent me a text. He's like, "Hey, I forgot," because he knew I watched. So I watched the opener yesterday afternoon, and I watched, I think, everything else today from night one. And he was like, "Man, what was up with Braun taking down his strap just to put it right back up and take it down again?" And I like when I saw it, I laughed out loud. But I'm like,
What you mean?
What is Braun on right now? There was a spot where he takes the strap down.
Which Braun?
He just puts-
Bronson.
Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker.
Oh, Braun Breaker. Okay.
Yeah. It's like little shit like that, right? Like I was like, man, wrestling is just so fucking fun. Like shit like that. Like, dude, what type of time were you on for you to do that? But you know, there's different lenses to watch wrestling. 'Cause the way we break down and talk so critical about wrestling, there was so much stuff that we could talk about just from a fun perspective. Like Drewski, shout out to Drewski.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm happy and shout out to him. Like the work he's put in, that boy works hard, and just to see him, you know, do both nights, the preview part, that was awesome. Cardi B come out there looking, she looked delicious.
Yeah, but she screamed.
And then she opened up her mouth. And I was like, Cardi, you gotta chill out. She's a screamer. She's absolutely a screamer now. Now I know. My mind went to a whole nother spot. And I heard her just screaming. Like, she screamed her entire promo.
She really did. She was inaudible. So when you watch TV,
look,
listen,
closed caption was like,
closed caption said inaudible.
That shit said, I don't know what she said. Like, and
it's not because of her accent. It was because of her screaming.
They were like, look, Cardi, you only look. We know we hyped you up for a year plus to be in the host. We got you for like a 2-minute promo in the ring. This is all you got. We'll show you at ringside. Make it count. She said, no problem. She screamed her entire promo.
I was hoping for her to come back to be like, you know, like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I was a SummerSlam host when she came out with WAP.
Yeah,
I don't
remember
know
it was actually the Detroit one.
No, it was our Vegas one.
Oh, that's what it was.
Vegas. It was Vegas, and
yeah,
she got pregnant. I was hoping that she's about to come out and like cut a promo. Like, I'm 2 years late or 3 years late, but it's okay because I was ready to get in my Cardi bag. Like, because this who I love her. She's so personable, and she is like, she doesn't take herself too serious, at least from what I see on the internet about her. But when she came out and just started screaming, Matt, I'm like, God damn.
Yes. God bless. All right, so Karrion Kross. Today, I think I'm betting he's not re-signing.
Yeah, I said that. I said that they're going to show us a lot if he wins this match with Sami or not. As far as if he...
I'm sorry not to cut you off.
No, that was it.
I never thought he was going to win because he won in order for us to get this match. you're not putting crossover on Sami Zayn. Right? Like, this is not the time for Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is the prototypical, no matter what, I'm the good guy. Sami Zayn is the John Cena for non-dorks. Right? Like, that is who Sami Zayn is. He's always done everything the way he should have outside when he had his heel run. But as a good guy, he is there's not a bad bone in his body, Sami Zayn. That is who his character is. But it was the way it happened. Like, even down to the look they shared at the end of the match. And so I'm watching, and I'm like, shit, this may be a swan song. Right? And then shout out to our girl, Megan. Love you, Megan. She had sent me a message. I think she sent you a message too, Rhodesia. And she basically just said, from Fightful Select, we have an update on Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Fightful Select has learned that from sources backstage at WWE Raw that Karrion Kross and Scarlett are not at Raw and aren't planned for the show. Beyond that, we've learned an update on their contract status. Fightful Select is told by a WWE higher-up that Kross and Scarlett's deals are up this weekend and that a new deal hasn't been offered to either of them. However, to our knowledge, they weren't informed that their contracts would be set to last. We'll continue to monitor the situation. So, could be a work, of course. This would be the best work in the world. This is how you do a work. Leak it that, we're not re-signing. You guys keep it close to the vest. Mm-hmm. You keep doing your internet stuff. You keep bubbling up. You show up, and now you're a big star on TV. I got that. But it was something to me about how that match ended. And it's on SummerSlam. For me, it felt like a swan song. He didn't have to be at Raw. And Scarlett, you're not needed for Raw. Like, you had a quick pre-tape or, backstage segment with Sammy. You're good to go. Here's the other thing. So I guess after night 2, outside the arena, Triple H is on the post show, and the crowd is chanting, "We want Kross."
Yes. But okay, keep going. Because I watched that.
He took it as, "We want Brock" chants.
Yep.
So
and that's where Matthew got irritated with H the most. That's, I think, where it capped at Matt's irritation with Triple H. He's like, no, they're not chanting, "We want Brock." We're chanting, "We want Kross."
H said, "What we do is ignore people that aren't re-signing." Kross said, so Kross quote tweeted it. So the tweet said, "Loud hashtag we want Kross chants" at Triple H again. He pawns it off as "We want Brock" chants. Mm-hmm. And they added Kross. Kross quote tweeted and said, "Unreal. They write the scripts, but the fans write the truth. Thank you, TikTok." I think he may have deleted it, but then Braun Strowman commented underneath that and said, "You know they don't care about the fans.
Ooh, the real Braun Strowman?
They care about nepotism ass kissers and their buddies." I think he deleted it after that, because when I went back, I couldn't find that, but I absolutely saw Kross's tweet. So shout out to Kross. Kross knows we fuck with him. Yeah. So if I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross, big fan of him and Scarlett. Is Kross going to be, if they don't re-sign him, is it like this massive mistake and, they're going to, no, it's not that. But I do think he's valuable. I think he got himself over by being himself. I think that if he doesn't re-sign at WWE or they don't sign him, he needs to be on somebody's television. I want to see him weekly on TV. But what's your guys' thoughts on, I guess my question to you two is, knowing everything we just kind of broke down, do you think this is a work in the sense of, and we know Triple H is a big Kross guy. He brought him back 3 years ago. Actually, I think it's like 3 years ago today or something. So we know he's a Kross guy. He just got a match on the second biggest pay-per-view of the year for WWE. Didn't get buried. He's been just hovering in the background the last few months on TV. So do you think this is legit that he has not been offered a contract? Or do you think it's a Triple H, Kross, and Scarlett situation where they know where they stand, and they'll be back on TV after we do something to try to garner up even more attention and popularity for them behind the scenes.
I'll make mine's quick because I don't want to steal from E's point, because he brought up a very good one last episode as far as Kross and where he could be and where he could go. What I will say is that, especially after the SummerSlam match, I do think that Kross will be back on WWE TV. How that's going to look, to answer your question, is it the former or the latter? I don't know how that is, but to the point that H brought back Kross years ago. He saw something in him. Kross is getting over on his own. So to me, I don't think that they would necessarily let that go. They brought back his entrances when, the whole Scarlett coming in and he coming out, like, they changed that for him. So, and I got super hyped when that happened and I saw it on TV. But I don't think that he's leaving, or his last match in WWE in a modern time is over with, mainly because how the match ended. But if he does go, AEW, I think, would be a perfect fit for him.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is just they're just working. And we're gonna see him back. Now, to the point of him being an H guy, I mean, how far has that gotten him since he's been re-signed? He hasn't really did a lot. Like, right, he's been kind of given chances. They gave him a whole faction, and they, released all of them except for those two. But up until recently, with the thing with Sammy, he hasn't really done a whole lot. Over the past 6 to 8 months, he kind of played a background character. He was kind of in a segment here or there. They haven't really done much with him for whatever reason. But if he were to go to AEW, he has that internet backing. Like, he has a hardcore fans cheering him. But for me, as I'm just thinking about it right now, as we're walking through in the real time, I don't know if he's actually a perfect fit for the AEW roster, because he's more of a character. Like, right, he's a storyline guy. He wants the segments, the videos, he does a lot of that smart intellectual stuff. And Tony, he just wants you working. He wants you putting on matches. He wants to put you in 35, 50-minute matches. That's what he's into. So if he's in the ring and he's not working the style that Tony like wants, is he going to give him the creative output that he needs to kind of get his character out there? I'm gonna say no, because you think about what he did with Malachi Black and the House of Black. Like, right, he stuck those guys in 6-man matches. He didn't really let them do the character that they should have. They kind of did a little bit, but he didn't go all the way with it. I don't know if Tony's gonna give him the time on the microphone, because he doesn't work the style that he likes. Now with WWE, they're all about character first. Like, right, and he hasn't been given the opportunity, but he showed that he should be given an opportunity. I'll let him stay in WWE. Oh, they work something out. Oh, this is just a step, towards a bigger foundation for him. And then, but I will say this though, all this work stuff this work shoot stuff they're doing, I feel like it's kind of strange that they're doing this in 2025, 2026. Like, right, they're working the boys for Seth and the injury. Now potentially they're working the boys with Karrion Kross, and is he signed or is he not signed? I just don't know if that the average fan knows about any of this backstage stuff. So if Karrion Kross doesn't show up on TV, I don't know if they know about the contract status, but I guess enough of them do, that they're chanting at these arenas.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, for me, I feel like WWE is his best place to be. If he goes somewhere else, I would want him to revert back to the Killer Kross persona and even work style. Like, he had a lot more MMA style in his work before, when he was working indies and was the Killer Kross and not Karrion Kross. He can do that. But to your point, E, like, and that's one thing that we gotta talk about with AEW is, if you're there, you typically, for the most part, you can really go in the ring. Right? Like, you can really go in the ring. And he's not a work guy like that. But we know, like, you don't have to be a work guy, especially to get popular. You got to have that persona and character and be able to cut promos and things of that nature. But for AEW, it looks like everybody who they've really signed, I would say probably like the last year or so, are bell to bell, be in between those ropes, they can fucking go. You tell them they got 15 minutes and they're going to go for 15 minutes. So I don't know if he, does fit. But Scarlett can work. Like they haven't used her that way, which they don't need her, quote unquote.
Yeah.
For the most part, but she can go. She can work. So, all right. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about before we get out of here? There wasn't anything really on Raw that we brought up. Roman showed up and got kicked, and he'll be gone.
Got his shoes jacked again.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Got his shoes jacked again.
Shulafala.
Dude.
Shulafala.
E, I know you said you ain't not rocking with the Vision name. You don't like it.
Well, did they make it official? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, well, yeah. He said it on Raw.
That was pretty official.
That was like the line.
That's pretty official.
That was like the last line. Like we are blah 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 in the Vision.
I will say it. Just to end the night though, like this faction. I don't know. We had a faction like this where every single faction member has like a cool finish. Seth's stump has always been a good finish, right?
Yep.
Like, yeah, and it looks devastating. So you kind of know when he's going to hit it. That's it. It's also a nice move to where it can take somebody out, especially depending on where he hits it, how he hits it. But then you got Brian and the spearing people out of their shoes. And then you got my man coming out with the tsunami. Like, right? Like this, like I still feel like they need one more person because it seems like we ain't never seen well, I guess the Shield was a 3-man faction.
Yeah.
Right? The Shield's a 3-man faction. But most factions typically have at least 4 characters. But I don't know who fits with the current dynamic of these guys with these amazing finishes that look like, total badasses.
Rank the finishes.
Between those 3?
Yeah, rank them.
I'm going Brian, Bronson, Seth.
Okay.
I would agree.
I'm going, I know you guys are going to say I'm crazy. I'm going Bronson. I'm going Seth, and I'm going Braun.
Yeah, no, you lost your goddamn mind.
No, because it's a spear.
Brian.
Like, he has one of the better spears.
But that's not a regular spear.
But
I would take an edge spear before I would take a bronze spear.
The way I look at it, if we watch a 4-hour show, I'm going to see a spear 27 times.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not going to see a tsunami. I'm not going to see a stone.
That's fair.
So that's why.
Got it.
But
you what with Nia? Is that her name? Nia. Nia does a booty drop on you. I call that a tsunami. I call that a tsunami. When you sit down on
why would you call that a tsunami? One person sits down. That's earthquakes. You don't know about that.
Okay, earthquake. It's an earthquake. It's all still natural disasters.
When Jade does the Uso splash, right? So it's similar. But I will say this though.
Jade. I thought you said Jade. I'm like,
I did too. I was like, Jade does.
Jade.
That's why she fucking
Jade. We all tired. No, Jade has an Uso splash.
He does.
Right. But however, there's something about the way that Brian does that spear. Like, it doesn't matter who else is doing it. They ain't doing it like that guy. Like,
who did he blow up on Raw Monday? He smoked somebody.
Not Punk. Maybe was it Punk?
Was it Punk?
It was Punk.
Outside
maybe I
the
think
ring?
it was Punk. I think it was Punk.
Oh boy!
I think it was Punk. Let's just go with that.
I was watching him during the promo. And I didn't like Seth's promo on Raw Monday. I thought it was boring. But that wasn't a good promo for like you cashed in, you're the champion now. Like it just wasn't. It wasn't good.
Wow, it's interesting.
Yeah. I was watching Brian. I'm like, we getting there slowly but surely. In terms of when that turn does happen with that group, either he's gonna be overlooked, right? It's gonna be more about Bronson. Like when that moment happens, right, where they start taking him for granted. You know the wrestling one-on-one type situation.
When they finally start breaking up.
Yep.
I wondered though, real quick, if you felt that way about Seth's promo because he had to follow Heyman's. I wonder if that's the case.
Or it could have been that was hour 8. straight
wrestling.
I had no chance to even say I'm excited to see what he's going to say because all I got to do is press play. And that round has to be a rapper. And I did watch episode 1 of Unreal. Yay! Thought it was tremendous. I did groan twice, particularly when they talked about the referee's position and how they, talk to the wrestlers and they go back like that. I was like, oh, that's a bit much to kind of just talk about out loud. And only because I feel like now somebody who watches that, now they think they're fucking so smart. That's the only reason. Now they could be a casual person who you would see out somewhere talking about wrestling. Now they think they know everything because they saw that and they still don't know anything. But outside of that, I thought it was great.
It hurt me a little bit when Abyss felt really disappointed and he's asking Regal, you think they mad at me? That one hurt. That one hurt. That hurt a little bit.
I hated to see that.
That hurt. That one hurt.
I hated to see that.
Wait, what happened?
So there was a spot they ran over. So episode 1 was really kind of surrounding night 1 on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got Rock.
Pumpkin.
So it's funny. They show the run sheet that's on the board in the back, as it always typically is at wrestling shows. And there's times. You know, every segment has a time. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Show starts with The Rock in-ring promo.
There's
no
time.
minutes. We know The Rock's going to go however long he wants to go. Of course, he went long. Yeah. So now they got to do what they got to do throughout the show. They got to cut. So they go Seth, and that was when Seth and Punk was the main event. And they had to cut a whole chunk out of the match. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing the producers, because they tell the producers right there in Gorilla, right next to H and I think Billy Kidman and was it Michael? No, and Bruce
Pritchard. Yeah.
So the producer is talking to the referee. So now Abyss is the producer of this match. He's talking to them surrounding what to cut. So he's like, okay, we can cut out these 3 spots right here and be good on time. Well, Seth and Punk ain't cutting out this spot right here because Abyss like, we can go right home from this spot and we good to go. Did happen. So they go a little long. They did cut a couple things. They go right to the finish at one point and they go a little long. So after the show, of course, the match was great. Mm-hmm. Abyss is just talking and he's just apologizing. Like, to the point where it's like, you feel bad for him because he feels like, and we have all seen this typically with somebody in the workplace where, and not saying this about, this is not about Abyss. Okay. But I'm talking about in the workplace where you have that person who isn't the most confident and is worried about everything that could go wrong. The overly apologetic person. He must have said, I'm sorry 15 times in like 20 seconds. I'm so sorry we went over. I'm sorry.
And it's his face too.
We tried to cut it, but they just didn't. I'm sorry. And Regal was calming him down. I was like, stop apologizing. It was
match
good.
Was good. The match was good. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But he was, I know, but I'm sorry. Like, you think it's okay?
And he's like, you think he's mad at me?
I'm just like, oh, I hated to see it. I wish they would have cut that shit out. I didn't like that at all.
I didn't want to see that.
To present him in that light, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
but
you know what?
It is.
You know what? I think that's the type of person he is. I've heard that about him back when he was in TNA, when he was an actual active wrestler. Mm-hmm. He's that type of, I don't want to say insecure. I don't know, that's like a terrible word.
Right, but you know what I'm saying. Right.
But I think that's the word to describe him, is that he was a little insecure about his talent and his work. He shouldn't be. It's sad to see people who actually are very ultra talented. This has always been ultra talented. Always really been over to kind of be insecure about his own self-worth and is he doing a good enough job or not.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But all the episodes are up, so I am excited to watch the rest of them. Probably won't watch tomorrow. I think I'm only gonna do sleep tomorrow. Try to watch it maybe in the next few days, man. So we out of here, y'all. That's everything. We wrap it.
We're wrapping over 2 hours.
We wrapped it like a Christmas gift.
Christmas in August.
And actually, E, you got to figure it out, man. World's End is coming to Chicago December 27th. You need to make a trip. You haven't been here to watch a show in a minute. You got to figure that out.
Wait, was this AEW?
Yeah, December 27th.
Oh, no, I'm not making no trips to no goddamn AEW.
Well, make a trip for us to see us.
And then we just go to the AEW show.
There we go.
You know, they're going to have another show down here in Atlanta. You guys make a trip to see us, and we can go ahead and hit that show.
Oh, all right.
But it's not a Worlds Collide,
What show is it? Right. You talking about just regular Dynamite?
Worlds Collide. We don't know what Worlds Collide. Who is
that? Forbidden Wall?
Forbidden Wall? Hey, listen. What time is it? It's 11:22. I'm about to get some Forbidden Walls tonight.
Let's go, baby. And on that note, we out of here. Let you get them Forbidden Walls, man. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know where we are. X, that's F&W. YouTube, that's Freaking Wrestling. We are on all audio platforms, and we are very close to being monetized on the audio side. So if you listen to audio, one of these weeks you're gonna hear what you call them things?
An ad. I'm gonna do an ad just so they know that we like.
And I always say like I feel a certain way about ads, but we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we are
do some ads for some lube. You know what I'm talking about?
This segment is brought to you by Astro. Oh, let me stop because they ain't pay us, so never mind.
That's freaking lube.
We out, y'all. See y'all next week.